This is Cast of Wonders, the young adult fiction podcast featuring stories of the fantastic. Welcome! Episode 576. I'm Catherine Inskip, your editor and host. Episode 576 is our 43rd Little Wonders collection. We're starting the year with one of our favourite things, stories from young authors. Our first story is At the Edge of Nowhere by Peter Gooley, a Cast of Wonders original. Peter Gooley is an Australian student in Sydney, New South Wales. He enjoys running, riding and music. This story is narrated by Danny Daly. Danny Daly, former assistant editor of Cast of Wonders, is a jack of many trades, master of none. But seeing as she loves the rogue life, that's okay with her. You can hear stories she's narrated on all four Escape Artists podcasts, Starship Sofa, Glittership and Asimov's Science Fiction podcast, or you can buy the audiobook she's narrated at audible.com under the name Danielle Daly. You can also contact her on Twitter at Danuli_Danny or at DanielleDailyReads.com if you'd like her to read for you. And now, we've a tale to tell.
At the Edge of Nowhere by Peter Gooley. Read by Danny Daly. It saddens me to look out my window and see the secrets lying sad and broken across the dusty road. The sprays of wind toss them along, scattering the letters among the little cream-colored chunks of gravel. I think that sadness was what made me first start collecting them. I gather the tiny, sparkling thoughts from the dew-painted ground each morning as I tend my garden, like manna from heaven. Sometimes they make sense, conveying beautiful, regretful, uplifting, or disgraceful stories. Sometimes I sense a half-exhaled sigh, or a stolen moment, a gift, or a theft. Mostly, I can only admire them as fragments. They sparkle in the jars in which I've secreted them. I rearrange them often, now by color, now by texture, now by theme and mood. That's the hardest one without a doubt, but it's the one I usually turn to during my spring cleaning, when the first bright wildflowers force their heads from the cold red soil, and the southerlies carry secrets in by the hundred. The rarest secrets to find whole are the truly joyful ones. Once, I found a near-complete one of these joyful secrets, barely cracked, and even holding a little of the morning dew. I gathered it up carefully. It shone brightly as I turned it in the sunlight, and I joyfully put it in pride of place upon my little wooden mantel, where its light could sparkle off the wall. But looking closer, I came to realize the suffering that this joyful secret had caused in its making. That sparked my dilemma. Could I, in good conscience, use such a terrible secret to bring myself joy? Surely here, in my little house at the edge of nowhere, it could do no harm. I kept the secret on my mantel for the next few weeks. It was doing no harm, and it was so beautiful, its reverberating shards of light exploding through my small house. I watered it each morning, trying to keep it alive, but eventually its light began to fade like that of all forgotten secrets. The glow dwindled. I waited and watered. The material dimmed. I waited and watered. The luster vanished. I waited and watered. When the first dry shards began flaking off, I took it outside and threw it in the well. That was the last secret I collected. My shelves are still lined with jars and jars, filled with tiny fragments of secrets and half-remembered melodies. A few pieces still glow faintly, casting a chaotic, fractal light over the smooth dirt floor of my home. In the older jars, though, nothing is left but a light gray powder. Outside, the south wind blows, carrying with it the forgotten fragments of people I have never known. I watch through my window, a soft mug of sadness clutched in my hands. Where do they go? The secrets blow north, further and further, until they vanish. Memories dry and crumble to dust, and I see them travel, estranged from their erstwhile owners, past the edge of nowhere.
This is a strange and wistful story, isn't it? The mood of it is quite lonely, but also almost voyeuristic. We're given an insight into the things that people keep to themselves, the things they might wish others know about them, the memories that are most precious. But there's also something dark about the secrets we keep to ourselves, the joys we refuse to share with others. Selfishness, spitefulness, vindictiveness. These traits can also evoke joy in us at times. Then there are the joys we keep secret because we're ashamed of them, because society won't let us share them openly. I very much like the tension in this story between the need to be seen and the release of being forgotten. Our second story is The Colour of Wings by Riley Tao, a Cast of Wonders original. Riley Tao, they, them, is a second-year college student. They have been previously published in Protean magazine, Daily Science Fiction and Seize the Press, among others. They are currently seeking representation for a novel based off of their short story, Both Hope and Breath, which was published in Cast of Wonders in 2023. They publish silly short stories on occasion at reddit.com/r/bubblewriters. This story is narrated by Adam Pracht. Adam Pracht lives in Kansas, but asks that you not hold that against him. His full-time day job is as Marketing and Volume Purchasing Program Coordinator for Smoky Hill Education Service Center in Salina, continuing his career of putting his talents to work in support of education. He was the 2002 college recipient of the Robert F. Kennedy Award for Writing About the Disadvantaged, and has published a disappointingly slim volume of short stories called Frame Story, 7 Stories of Sci-Fi and Fantasy, Horror and Humour, which is available from Amazon as an ebook or in paperback. He's been working on his second volume, Schrodinger's Zombie, 7 Weird and Wonderful Tales of the Undead, since 2012, and successfully finished the first story. He hopes to complete it before he's cremated and takes up permanent residence in an urn. You can also hear his narration and audio production work on 2 mediocre Audible audiobooks, and as a regular producer and occasional narrator for the Drabblecast. And now, we've another tale to tell.
The Colour of Wings by Riley Tao. Mama says there's no girl in the barn, that feathers ain't fingers, and caws aren't words. But the girl gives me gifts, and I know that she's real. A bit of chalk that Mama says got all over my hands. A fork, cold and heavy, that Mama sold off at market. A feather, good for quills or fletching arrows, but best pressed up to my cheek at night. I give her gifts too. Mama tells me not to, but mostly always nobody notices when I sneak a few rolls from the baker at the edge of the crowded, loud market. I know it's against the rules. I hear when the baker yells, "Thief!" but I don't get caught. I'm the littlest person in town, and I guess when you're little and they're big, they forget all the alley spots and hidey holes that you can run through, and they can't reach. Shimmy through the underhouse where the tickly things crawl. Tap along the moonshine tunnels where others stumble and curse, and surface where the crickets sing in fields close to home. And in the mornings I go to the moldy barn, following the dirt path until my feet scrape wood and open the creaky, dusty door. Bird chirps and wing flaps greet me, morning warm on my hair, and I plop the stolen rolls on the plank where I always do. The wood is splintery, rough with dirt and pebble bits, but no crumbs from yesterday's roll. I think the girl in the barn is very hungry. I turn around, reach out to the bird nest shelf, and it's right where I know it should be. In the middle of the woven twigs, I find it. Today's gift is jagged, warm to the touch. I run my fingers along its edges, raise it to my nose. It smells of copper. A key? I ask. Softness brushes my fingertips, and I reach out, but the girl's hand is always just out of reach. It's perfect, I say, holding the key to my chest. The lingering warmth heats my palms. Thank you. I turn to leave, and the birds fall silent. A man's heavy footsteps clomp up the dirt path. The door bangs open, and a sling hums twice. The girl screams, "Stop!" but the man hears, "Squawk!" and I drop the key as a bird thumps to the floor. Gotcha. A rustle of clothing, more footsteps, a scrape of metal on wood. I reach out, panic. He's taken it. He's taken her gift. He speaks. Damn crow stole my key. My breathing is ragged. I hear the man's voice grow concerned. Hey, you're the little blind boy, aren't you? What are you doing in a place like this? I wait for the barn girl to talk, tell him who she is, to say she's here for me, to keep me safe and hold me close. But she's dead. The man with the twang bow killed her. That's some good bread, he says, presses something into my hands. Here, do you want... It's for her! I slap it away, and it tumbles into the dirt. Leave me alone! Mama says there's no girl in the barn, and I try so hard not to believe her. Every morning I bring her rolls, and every night they're eaten clean. But there are no more gifts in the empty nest.
Another sad one, this, showing a glimpse of how we can find meaning in things that no one else appreciates. The protagonist by nature doesn't see the world the same way as those around him. But really, does anyone? The people, events, and possessions that hold meaning for each of us are never perceived by others the way we do. Even our closest friends and family might not quite understand who and what they are to us, emotionally or otherwise. Perhaps that's why the shared connections of friendship are so special. Even if they aren't quite the same for all parties, the illusion of shared meaning is still powerful. Join us again soon. We love bringing you the best audio fiction week after week, but we can't do it without your support. Your donations pay our authors, our narrators, our servers, and our staff. Please consider supporting us with a monthly donation through either PayPal or Patreon. You can also review us on Apple Podcasts, request us on Spotify, and consider the stories we publish for award consideration. There are lots of ways you can help. Join the discussion on the EA Forum, forum.escapeartist.net, or EA Discord. Visit on Twitter at Cast of Wonders. Come say hello. Cast of Wonders is brought to you by Editor Catherine Inskip, Assistant Editor Alicia Caparaso, Associate Editors Tanya Adelit, Amy Brennan, Somto Eheswe, Kap Jacob, Amanda Kong, Ray O, Simon Pan, Samuel Poots, Emma Smales, Denise Udell, and Rin Yi. Our editorial assistant is Amy Brennan, our community manager is Denise Udell, and our audio producer is Jeremy Carter. Cast of Wonders is part of the Escape Artists Foundation, a 501c3 non-profit, and this episode is distributed under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 International License. That means you can download or listen to the episode on any device you like, but you can't change it or sell it. The Little Wonders theme music is Neversus by Alexei Nov, available from Promo DJ or his Facebook page. Thank you for listening.